short hair, yellow belly, son of tricky dicky, gonna mother of its up. So me, it's just a pocket full of hope. It's money for dough. It's money for road. Woodstock. Schizophrenic, egocentric, paranoia, prima donnas with post. The truth now. Just give me some truth. No short head, yellow belly, son of tricky bacon, gonna mother all the sock. So me with just a pocket full of soul. A trademark for Woodstock. It's money for dough. And money for dough. I'm sick to death of hearing things from uptight, short-sighted, narrow-minded hypocrites. All I want is the truth now. Just give me some truth now. I've had enough of reading things by neurotic, psychotic, pig-headed politicians. All I want is the truth now. Just give me some truth now. All I want is the truth now. Just give me some truth now. Well, here we are, all gathered around Randy's round table. It's a Friday night. It's about 3 minutes after 9 o'clock, so that you know that we are actually quite live. And I'm here with my pals, who are our usual Monday night caballeros, and that's Joe Barton and Paula Gloria. Say hi.
Hi there.
Hi. It's been a boring week. Well, let's see. Page 4 of the Woodstock Times, front page of the Sunday Daily Freeman Local section, and both of them are, I would generally say, full of crap.
You can say that?
I can say full of crap anytime I want to. Crappy, 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 crap. Now, I can't say the S word, and I can't say the F word. I gotta be careful.
We should do Donovan rules and regulations.
Well, I think somebody's already trying to, be the signpost keeper. You know that old sign? Signs everywhere, signs blocking out my scenery, breaking my mind. Yeah,
right.
So we've had these newspaper articles and all sorts of stuff because of what started out happening with the town board, where we made an altruistic proposal that everybody said it was a win-win situation, where we got to be on public access TV along with the radio station, just like we are now. And then up pops, you-know-who, I refer to them as radio bully stock, out of an abundance of caution to not violate their trademark. I find out, though, that I have to be careful of another trademark, and that's bully stock radio. So, by the way, this is public access radio, as I think some of the comments may eventually get around to. So, since we are public access radio, I want to give you out the number, and you can call now or you can wait a little while, whatever you want. Our telephone number, and we will be happy to put you on the air for whatever you want to talk about, is area code 845-679-9104.
679-9104. And before we take any phone calls, there was this article in the Woodstock Times that just came out Thursday. So I want to deal with that first. And Paula's over there, and I'd like to kind of take this. Go ahead and read it, and
Okay.
I'll interrupt you when I need to. And,
Okay, this is the February 26th edition of the Woodstock Times, and the article is entitled More Woodstock Than Thou. Argument breaks out over radio names. Radio Woodstock 100.1 FM says that only one station can have Woodstock in its name.
Now, can I stop you right there? First off, let's take the quote from the newspaper, Radio Woodstock 100.1. Anybody that's been in Woodstock, and even if you don't listen to the radio, you see it in print, had been very used to for years seeing that oval logo that they had with kind of a black rim, and the biggest thing in the middle over kind of an elongated planet were the call letters WDST. And in the bottom, it used to say across the top, world class rock. Then on the bottom, it would say 100.1, and nowhere in that one did it say Radio Woodstock. Then they changed it when world class rock didn't seem to impress anybody, and that's when they put Radio Woodstock on there. But their call letters were always prominently presented. Then they took the call letters out and started demand, because their verbal call was Radio Woodstock was Radio Woodstock WDST. Then they changed it all when we were coming around, and I can document all of this. They changed it around, and I actually heard a complaint from a reporter, who I will not mention, when he did a story on them on one of their promo pieces, how uptight the owner of the station was about that it had to be precise. It had to be Radio Woodstock 100.1. It couldn't be Radio Woodstock WDST anymore. That was all done after we came on the scene with Woodstock 104. Because they wanted to try to establish that if they put their frequency after their trademark, that they would be able to maybe come up with some sort of an argument that it's too close. But the thing is, the documentation that I've just told you is there that shows that they've been fiddling around with their moniker in order to try to position themselves the best to challenge our moniker, which is our town of license and our radio dial position. And we don't even use a 100.1. So I just wanted to make it clear there that we have a documented history of their print logos and how they've modified them over time to bring themselves as close as they could get to Woodstock 104 in order to challenge us. But their trademarks are for Radio Woodstock and Woodstock Radio. Aside from a conversation like this, we never use the term radio. All right, Paula, go ahead. Thank you.
It's really interesting, and I'm going to enjoy editing this for television, mantra and
yeah,
yantra
and
is
putting
tantra.
up the logos, yeah.
Yeah, because it'll make more sense. I'm looking. Woodstock, okay, but Woodstock 104 isn't backing down. See, I'll do that again. Radio Woodstock 100.1 FM says only one station can have Woodstock in its name, but Woodstock 104 isn't backing down.
You cannot trademark to say that only one radio station in a town where there are now two can't use Woodstock. They could say they're Radio Woodstock. We don't say that. They can say they're Woodstock Radio. We don't say that. We're only using our town of license, which we have have to say by FCC rule, and 104 as our dial position. And by the way, we are state licensed to use that name for purposes of a low-power radio station at Woodstock.
Okay, WIOF, which was granted a low-power FM license by the FCC last February, has been running test broadcasts on 104.1 FM since September, calling itself Woodstock 104. The problem is WDST calls itself Radio Woodstock 100.1 FM and holds a trademark to the name. Any other
No. Let's just be specific here. They do not have a trademark for Radio Woodstock 100.1. They have a trademark for Radio Woodstock and another trademark for Woodstock Radio. And that's it.
Very good. Any other radio station with Woodstock in its name could be infringing on that trademark.
BS.
That issue came to light when Birds of a Feather Media CEO Randy Steele proposed an attractive-sounding deal to the town board, giving them exclusive rights to simulcast the fledgling station's feed on public access Channel 23, where there is no other programming. When Channel 23 is off the air, there is no audio, causing confusion. By carrying Steele's station, the town could ensure there is always content on the station. The board was ready to seal the deal at its February 17th business meeting, but was alerted to the trademark issue. We have no problem with the station operating and offered her alternatives that would not infringe on our trademarks, WDST General Manager Richard Fusco said in an email to the board.
Yeah, let's say what they offered. Hippie radio or tie-dye radio.
I know.
Which is an insult.
Yeah, it's an insult.
I might read that one later if there's time.
Sure.
But, you know.
Oh, there'll be plenty of time.
Okay. She refused to speak with us and referred us to her lawyers. It takes, on one hand you refuse, on the other hand you're harassing them with many calls.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They're saying that, on one hand they're saying I refuse to talk with them, and the reason why I refuse to talk with them is exactly what happened. And there's another document there that we'll get to eventually. I made one call, I guess, back in September to 679-7600, which is their switchboard. And I got the extension for Richard Fusco. And I left a message on the machine. And I'll admit, I was stressed at having to do that. So the stress in my voice sometimes does convey his hostility, but I didn't say anything. What I said was a quote. I said, this is to let Radio Woodstock know that Birds of a Feather Media will not accept any communications from Radio Woodstock or Chet 5 Broadcasting, and that all communications are to be directed to, and I gave them the email address and the physical address of our copyright and trademark attorney. And that was all I did. Now all of a sudden I get later in this article where they say I made nasty, quote unquote, nasty messages to them. Well, I've never done that. I'll say right now, even before you've gotten to it, because this is something that deals with my reputation. And this is the thing that bugs me the most. I made precisely one phone call to WDST to do what I just described. In this metadata collecting society, it could be collected from either my phone line or phone lines, and that no call other than that one originated from there, and I believe it was probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If I had reached him in person, I would have told it directly to him, and I would have just, not tersely even, but I would have said, I'm not going to discuss this with you, discuss it with my trademark attorney. Now they're trying to say that I made, and I never even had a chance to say any of that, and now I'm being accused of making nasty phone calls. I mean, this is the very hallmark trait of a bully. It's why I call them radio bully stock. because they're trying to be so cordial. They're saying that I won't talk to them. But when somebody is stealing your, your wallet or something, and they're doing it consistently, and you don't go over and say, "Hi, I want to make nice with you," or else you get a black eye or something. Okay?
And your wallet stolen.
And your wallet stolen. And beaten up for having the audacity to do that. So if I had called them and said, "Let's talk about that," Randy Steele made another harassing phone call. It's her against us, and we're the big-time 3,000-watt radio bully stock. And, and the problem with that is a lot of people believe the bully story. And I've been through this all my life. Not all my life, but all my school life, until I suddenly became the high school disc jockey. Then all of a sudden I was cool. And all of the bullies left me alone because
you had a mouth.
If they didn't leave me alone, I could make nasty dedications to them. And we got a phone call right now.
She knew Tung Fu.
Yeah. Hello, Woodstock 104. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Oh, okay. We hear you. Great. You're sounding great. All right. Who's this?
This is Robert.
Hi, Robert. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Now, I just need to address a few things. I've been listening and cruising around on the internet, which is a very scary place.
We're learning that.
And I found some stuff, and I need to get them out there. One of the things, the public radio, public media, like what we are taking part in right now, is the gatekeeper of the social fabric of this country.
Mm-hmm. And
when stations like this one are under attack for a phrase or a term. For instance, you can't say your city of license, your federally mandated city of license.
Yep.
Excuse me?
Excuse me.
Whenever these types of things happen, you have to look to the challenger and say, are they afraid? Does the idea of freedom bother them? Some of the things I've read tonight make me feel as if these other stations are threatened or are somehow put off by the concept of a community, which is everyone. So even if you disagree, community is even if you disagree with me, we're in the same community.
Right.
Yes.
So white, black, gay, straight, Jewish, Christian, doesn't matter, just doesn't. We're all a community. And so what we can't have is the separation. You can't have somebody say you can't say the city of license. I'm sorry. I don't care about the copyright or the corporate law or the trade name. It's all nonsense.
It's all on your side, Robert. It's all on your side, Robert. All of that copyright, trademark, it's supposed to protect exactly what you're talking about. Your voice is the voice of American freedom. Your voice is the voice that's made America loved all over the world. Copyright should protect that.
Well, it says right in the copyright law that you cannot copyright a common, and a town is a common.
By the way, a town name that exists in several other states. So it's not that, and I'm just going to say it, it's not that Radio Woodstock can exist only in New York. It can exist anywhere that radio and a town called Woodstock happens to be.
Let me just, with all due respect, disagree with that, because they do have a trademark for Radio Woodstock and Woodstock Radio. So nowhere, at least in the United States, could that name be used for a radio station. However, that does not preclude other people from using the name Woodstock in their radio name. It can't. It would be undue restraint of trade.
Exactly.
Or
Exactly.
de facto monopoly or illegal monopoly. See, the problem is they had a de facto monopoly until a year ago when the FCC granted us the license, and they're still trying to enforce a de facto monopoly.
Robert,
when
Robert,
you're dealing with a commercial station, which you are dealing with, really there should be no argument back and forth. There should be an outreach by that commercial station of collaboration. There should be no threat to them by your existence, and clearly they're posturing. You pose a threat to their business model in some fashion, or at least they perceive you as one.
Robert, can I ask, are you watching this on the stream of woodstocktv.org? Because we're simulcasting with public access TV channels.
You know, at this time, I'm going to reserve where I'm a bit of a hacker, so I'll let it go at that. And but no, I'm a big fan, and it's very important.
A big fan of what? Of Woodstock Channel 23 or 20.4
No,
or 20.2?
Of Woodstock 104.
Okay.
And you know, the most important part of that is the fact that it's low power community radio, and the fact that it is a voice of freedom. And you know, that's all I got.
Well, I'd love your voice to be heard all over the world. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Should I continue?
Yeah, go ahead. Let me just drop the line. By the way, our telephone number, now we're set up for you, if anybody else wants to call, is 679-9104. 679-9104. The 9 stands for W. That's the number 9 on the phone is W, and that stands for Woodstock. 679-9104. Go ahead, Paula.
Great. That was such a refreshing call, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We have no problem with the station operating and offered her alternatives that would not infringe on our trademarks. WDST General Manager Richard Fusco said in an email to the board. She refused to speak with us and referred us to her lawyer. It takes a great deal of money, time, and effort to maintain a trademark, which we have done for many years. But it is an important part of what distinguishes us in the very competitive local radio market. I would have liked to talk more to Robert because he seemed very perceptive. I almost wonder, do you think that, Radio Bully Stock wants to sell out? And make their commercial station more valuable to these big, because they're depicting themselves as the victims.
Oh, well, that's what bullies do. Yeah. See, bullies say, "Oh, I'm being victimized because I'm being picked on for being a bully." You know. Yeah.
One of the things I've noticed that they keep saying that they're competing with these big stations that are kind of bullying them. You know.
Yeah.
And what are they competing for?
For advertising dollars.
Right, for advertising dollars. But they're competing with these two big stations that are kind of bullying them, and they're whining, "Oh, gee, poor us, we're being picked on by these bigger stations," and yet they got a dump on this little station, you know, like we're the threat to them.
And the funny thing is, we could be sitting there along with them. Well, they won't, okay, because they're a commercial station. They want to be very careful never to offend an advertiser, you know. Somebody could be proposing to suck a lot of water out of a lake and build a plastic bottling company, and they'll be afraid to talk about it because, they might be a future sponsor of ours, you know. And then when it becomes real safe after the fact that Governor Cuomo has signed a statewide ban against hydrofracking, okay, then it's safe. We can have somebody on the air and talk about hydrofracking or or something. But that's what they are. They're advertiser driven. But the funny thing about it is, we're certainly not above talking about Clear Channel or Cumulus and naming them by name, or the Durst Corporation for what it does with transmitting antennas in the borough of Manhattan. We'll name the names because we got nothing to lose.
Right.
We understand that they can't. We could run interference for them if that's what's going on.
Exactly.
But what this is just the old adage. They do public service announcements on it, that child abuse is generational. A child gets abused, then when he grows up and becomes a parent, the abuse is transferred down to another generation. So this is exactly what they're doing. Oh, the big boys are picking on us, so there's finally somebody smaller than us that we can pick on. Well,
And so you're saying
bad strategy,
and I'd like to make another point about what they're doing. They turn around and they say that this station might confuse listeners as to who's who. Well, if people listen to this station, what they're getting is news and content about what's going on in the community. And if people tune into them, every 10 minutes there's a commercial. So how can you mistake them for us, since they're nothing but commercials?
We got another phone call?
Yeah.
Hang up if it's a solicitor.
no. Ask them where you got their number, where they got.
What
your
is
number.
that there, though? That line is still up, I believe.
Should I continue?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, while you work out your lines, we'll go through the article. Until the parties work out a solution, the Channel 23 deal is on hold. By the way, I told the people over in England through Eviction Fraud of the Bank's Facebook page to stay tuned to woodstocktv.org to see if they can catch this exciting show.
From what I'm told, that doesn't go anywhere right now.
Oh, Woodstock.
No, it's just the station is barely, that's why you offered it, is because they're in such bad shape. Quite frankly, given all the publicity that we've gotten and the attention that we've gotten and the love that we've gotten, off the air and the support, so what about it? The Channel 23 thing was not going to be a total benefit to us because we had agreed that we would be promoting shows coming up on the station, and that would have potentially been a logistical nightmare. It was just a nice offer, but hey, we're here anyway. So, if they don't want it, it's their TV station.
Time Warner's giving $100-something thousand a year. What are they giving it for if people don't have public access?
Well, in all honesty and fairness to the town, the community center is being rebuilt, and the footprint of the TV station, when it is built, that's already in the ground, will be much bigger. But I want to go back to maybe why we're a threat before you get back to the Woodstock Times article, if you remember where you left it off. And that is why we might be a threat. And this is kind of accidental. But as a radio historian, I go back to the days of the 1960s and 1970s in New York City. New York had WABC. It was considered to be the preeminent music station in the country, and it had very high ratings. And then when you got into the 70s, where FM became dominant, WABC